I first saw the smiling man on a rainy Thursday night. I was walking home from work through a quiet neighborhood on the edge of town. It was almost 2 a.m., and the streets were completely empty. Most houses were dark, and the only sounds were distant traffic and rain dripping from the trees. I remember checking my phone and realizing it was dead. That was when I noticed him. Far down the street, beneath a flickering streetlight, stood a man. At first I didn't think much of it. Maybe he was waiting for someone. Maybe he was just another night owl. But something felt wrong. He wasn't moving. Not even slightly. The rain was falling hard, yet he stood perfectly still. I kept walking. A few minutes later I looked back. The streetlight was empty. The man was gone. I felt relieved for a moment. Then I noticed him again. Standing under another streetlight farther down the road. Closer. Much closer. I stopped walking. The man remained motionless. I couldn't make out his face from that distance, but something about the way he stood made me uncomfortable. His arms hung strangely at his sides. His head tilted slightly forward. Like he was studying me. I started walking faster. The neighborhood became quieter the farther I went. Soon I reached a small shopping plaza that was closed for the night. The parking lot was empty. I crossed it quickly. Halfway across, I glanced over my shoulder. My stomach dropped. The man was standing at the edge of the parking lot. He hadn't been there a second ago. There was no way he could have moved that far without me seeing him. And now I could finally see his face. He was smiling. Not a normal smile. A huge smile. Wide enough to look painful. His eyes seemed fixed directly on me. I immediately turned away and kept walking. Every instinct told me not to look back. But after a few seconds I couldn't help it. I turned around again. The man was closer. Much closer. Still smiling. Still not moving. Somehow every time I looked away he seemed to cover impossible distances. I felt panic rising in my chest. I left the shopping plaza and entered another residential street. The houses were packed closely together. Porch lights glowed through the rain. For the first time all night, I thought I might be safe. Then I noticed something. Several people were standing at their windows. Watching outside. Watching the street. Watching him. Nobody was opening their doors. Nobody was helping. They just stood there silently behind the glass. Like they already knew what was happening. I started jogging. Then running. I could hear my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I reached the final block before my house. Only a few hundred feet remained. I looked back one last time. The smiling man was standing in the middle of the road. Directly beneath a streetlight. Close enough now that I could clearly see his face. The smile stretched unnaturally wide across his cheeks. His eyes never blinked. And for the first time, he slowly raised one arm. And pointed directly at me. I ran. I sprinted the rest of the way home. I slammed the front door shut and locked every lock. Then I turned off every light in the house. For several minutes I sat on the floor trying to catch my breath. Eventually the silence returned. No footsteps. No sounds outside. Nothing. Maybe it was over. Maybe I had imagined the whole thing. After nearly an hour I finally stood up and walked toward the living room window. Carefully, I pulled back the curtain. The street outside was empty. No sign of the smiling man. I laughed nervously. I actually laughed. Then I noticed something reflected in the glass. A shape standing behind me. Inside the house. I froze. Slowly I looked toward the reflection. The same pale face. The same wide smile. The same unblinking eyes. Standing at the end of my hallway. Watching me. And the moment our eyes met, the lights went out.